climate change has been on the radar of the science world for many years, and scientists has deemed climate change as a threat in the foreseeable future. But those calculations have seemed to backfire on them. Climate change has been steadily increasing global warming, which is causing the Earth in which is causing the Earth to become much more warmer due to the atmosphere. Now, according to William Woonluck's article "Climate Change and Natural Security," that the U.S. military officials has deemed climate change as a threat multiplier to the world and can bring the world into more harm and danger. Now, this is why here I am to explain to you guys why I think that climate change is gonna be the next big threat to humanity. And I think there are three reasons why that I think that climate change is going to continue to get much more bigger and stronger and aid global warming, which is going to terrorize the world in the foreseeable future. First, gas emissions. Second, natural disasters. And third and finally, us humans. Now, I'm going to start with gas emissions. Gas emissions are pretty much a greenhouse effect aided by carbon dioxide in the air, which is making the atmosphere much more warmer and hotter, which causes the Earth become much more warmer. Now, like I said before, humans are play a crucial role in why climate change has been a natural threat. And like I said before, we humans, we burn fossil fuels. We burn fossil fuels, and when we burn fossil fuels, we burn it for transportation, we burn them for electricity, and we burn them for heat. And all those things go into the air, into the carbon dioxide, into the greenhouse, which makes the earth much more warmer. We also use the methane from cows, and we use the manure from cows, which contain methane, and the methane goes in the air, which helps the carbon dioxide in the air, which helps the greenhouse effect in the air, and it makes the atmosphere and the earth much more warmer. Now, according to Christina Lyons' article, will Biden succeed in imposing control? As in May of 2021, that the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has reached its highest monthly average in history. This is why the ice in Greenland and Antarctica are melting, which is raising the sea levels. And speaking of sea levels, the Danish Meteorology Institute explained that the carbon dioxide levels are so high that it's raising the sea level by 1.8 centimeters, which is the most since the 1990s. And after that, pretty much that the University of Leeds also did a study explained that by the end of the century, 17 centimeters of the sea level is going to continue to rise, which will cause 16 million people of coastal flooding. It will endanger them, which I think is insane. Now, with the sea levels rising and causing a terror, which will cause coastal flooding, now heat waves are also a problem. According to a study in the Pacific Northwestern region of the United States, they experienced their hottest heat waves, their hottest temperatures ever in June, and those were in history. Now, imagine experiencing these type of heat waves for the next to 5-10 years instead of every 1,000 years, because it looks like that's what's going to happen. And also with that happening, these temperatures are also affecting marine life. We have 14% of the undersea coral killed off between 2009 and 2010 because of these heat waves and these temperatures increasing. And that's all for gas emissions. Now let's go into natural disasters. Natural disasters like hurricanes, like tornadoes, droughts, wildfires. These are pretty much aided by climate change. Climate change aids these type of weather disasters. It makes them more bigger, more violent, and more dangerous all around throughout our world. Now, according to Alejandra Barunda from Natural Geographic, she explains how the wildfires and the droughts from California and Sierra Nevada, these droughts and wildfires are becoming very hectic. Um, Around the timber in the forest in the Sierra Nevada and California, they're burning up. They're being dried up, and it's causing the forest to have droughts, and droughts turn into wildfires. And the wildfires have burned across 624,000 acres across the U.S. between May and the end of October. Now, with the wildfires being done, there's also coastal flooding and rainfalls. For example, in northwestern Italy, they caused a European record when it comes to rainfalls, with 29.2 inches of rainfall happening in northwestern Italy just in 12 hours, which caused coastal flooding and mudslides in the area. And China also experienced a rainfall record which caused 1 million people of coastal flooding, which killed 1 million people. Now, with that being said, the U.S. has experienced 18 different weather-related type of disasters throughout this year, which killed 538 people, and which caused over a billion dollars in damages. Now, with that being said, now it's to us. We humans, we should make a change. We have to make a change when it comes to climate change, because according to the Economic and Peace Institute, they explained how climate change is gonna displace 1 billion people by the year 2050, and that the United Nations agency explained that how climate change is gonna cause an additional 250,000 deaths between 2030 and 2050. But our politicians seem not to care, because number one, politicians know that fossil fuels are aiding climate change, but in their opinions, they don't want to cut off fossil fuels, because if we cut off fossil fuels, more Americans are going to be out of jobs, and the older population, they seem not to care as well, because it doesn't concern them really. The younger generation is going to have a more change, and a more opportunities to donate and protest more than people over the age of 56. So people, if you're over the age of 56, they're not seem not to care about climate change. It's whatever and what happens, or they don't believe it due to the misinformation of social media. Now, with that being said, I have a question for you, the audience. Are you gonna stand there and let climate change happen and destroy our world? Because if we let climate change destroy the world and let the earth not be habitable, we will die. So, are you gonna let that happen, or you're gonna stand up in humanity and become a hero?